Hello and a warm welcome to a special live broadcast from the heart of the Hannover Messe 2025. This is one of the biggest industrial trade fairs in the world. My name is Karen Helmstead and I'm here at the Emerson booth and delighted to have a little bit of company with me this year because my colleague Marlon Escobar joins me. He's all the way in from the United States, and so great to have you with me on site this year, Marlon.
I'm so happy to be here. It's so exciting to see Emerson share their innovative technologies, their cutting edge devices, and even sees experts share their stories and insights here on the trade show floor.
That's right. We've got a lot coming up. We're going to be looking at how the future of technology is actually shaping various industries, providing things like the necessary visibility and insights that are necessary to make those data-driven decisions that can help optimize operations, from automation all the way to AI.
And you can't forget energy and efficiency.
No, definitely. I think one of the biggest topics at the Hannover Messe 2025 this year.
It's such a focus. I'm really focusing on sustainability and really making choices that lower costs and make things more seamless.
Yes, we're looking forward to those, but before we kick off, we want to have a quick look at what's been going on here at the Emerson booth at the Hannover Messe so far.
So again, thank you for joining us. Join us on our LinkedIn, our YouTube, and Emerson.com. Share any questions, thoughts, and we're happy to address them. So please, grab a coffee, sit back, and let's go.
Okay. Everything you've seen so far has focused on industrial automation, which, as we know, is traditionally a very logical kind of process. But with advances in technology, automation is truly becoming more creative. So we went out in search of a metaphor to make that tangible.
Imagine an artist standing in front of a vast, empty canvas. Every stroke isn't just about color, movement, balance, or rhythm. It's about achieving their overall vision. If the flow is broken, they have to stop to mix the paint, adjust lighting, or clean their brushes. But what if the canvas, the brushes, and the colors could sense the painter's intent? What if they shifted and blended seamlessly? Anticipating each stroke, allowing the artist to stay in their full rhythm, immersed in creation. A floor-to-cloud approach to automation is like this harmony.
Sometimes when I hang my painting and I don't sell nothing, I say, ask myself, why the people don't buy, you know? And I go again, check my work. I don't call it mistake, but I can call it why it's not working. And all this problem, this question you get on your mind, you know? And all these things you must find out why.
Art and technology are in a constant dialogue in this lively city. However, consider this. Art transcends mere entertainment. Art is devised to provoke thought and change your perspective on how things can be done. Today we will explore how similar creative thinkers and industrial innovators seek to find harmony in a world where they must find a way to make various components coexist.
My name is Loun Jai. I'm from Senegal, and I'm painter. I'm making art, all the time, and I mean the style is sand painting. It's my own style, and I mix the acrylic and the textile. That was I never seen it before. Yeah. Sometimes also I try with abstract. I never think about what's going to come out, but by doing every piece, every corner, and suddenly you see something is developing. One face come out, or one hand come out, and I start to develop it, and until I'm satisfied.
The floor-to-cloud approach can be viewed as an invisible support system that eliminates friction, ensuring that everything runs smoothly. Enabling individuals, whether painters or facility managers, to focus on what truly matters. Just as an artist may blend different techniques to create a masterpiece, at Emerson we unite industrial devices to create a more cohesive, innovative system, where we transform industries and drive progress. The tools may differ in art and industry, but the goals are the same. At Emerson, we're committing to helping you find that harmony. With our cutting-edge technology, we connect systems from the factory floor to the cloud.
And that was Marlon Escobar out in the field right here in Hanover, where art and automation are coming together this week at the Hannover Messe 2025. Welcome back here to the Emerson booth. And I'm joined now by Eugenio Silva, who is Emerson's product manager, Intelligent Automation. And I'm just wondering, Eugenio, can you relate to that? Can you actually find the art in automation?
It was very inspirational. By the way, I'm glad to be here. It's
Yeah?
a very nice live moment. And of course...
You've been busy this week.
Yes, of course. These last 2 days were fantastic.
Yeah.
But going to back that, it's interesting that what we do in engineering is just about having a concept in mind.
Yeah.
But at the end, probably you still don't know what's going to be the outcome. But of course, it's like understanding the challenge of the customers. There's many different views. So probably when you look at the piece of art, you also have different interpretations, right?
Different interpretations, different perspectives come
Yeah,
up.
emotions is not just the technical aspects of the painting. It's also like the analogy of bringing the colors together is like what we do in our solutions. You have to tie all the pieces, and they are nicely integrated. And you know that when you look for art, I think nobody puts a price, you put a value. And I think that relates to me as a product manager for solutions, because I like customers to see the value of it.
That's amazing, and I'm sure you can translate that metaphor really beautifully for your customers. One of the main things that we've been talking about here at the Emerson booth this year at the Hannover Messe is, of course, energy efficiency, and that's sort of your specialty. So I want to get to sort of what you've been actually presenting here at the fair repeatedly and very happily and very successfully for several days now. Perhaps you can just recap. It's called the Real-Time Energy Monitoring Solution. And what exactly is it that you've been presenting with this Energy Manager Showcase here at Hannover Messe 2020?
Yes, it's exactly the first show, the first time that we bring live this Energy Manager.
So it's an unveiling.
Yeah, it's an unveiling solution that is a pre-engineered package made of our software pre-installed in our edge platform hardware. And then was completely designed to make very simple to add your energy points and start visualizing immediately, analyzing the data without having to do any engineering or customize. And we do that because we like to make it easier to monitor electricity, especially industrial electricity.
Right.
And then the solution provides the information about the peak demand, energy consumption. We provided the costs in an accurate way, and sometimes also estimate the carbon footprint. And the interesting part is that because it's very scalable and affordable, the customers can decide whether to use this to monitor the total number of assets or dedicating a certain granular view to the point of the energy intensive assets can be monitored individually. And then nicely we brought all together.
So taking a quick look around here at the many booths here at the Messe, it's clear that industrial environments are incredibly diverse. So what would you list as the challenges of monitoring and energy consumption in these different environments like this?
Yeah, today we had several customers saying, okay, we have install base, and I like to know if your standard solution could fit to my measurement devices, my energy meters. And by the way, I like to select maybe a vendor, and therefore, is your solution a future-proof? And in our case, yes, because we take open standards, open integration, it's very scalable, modular, so the customer can start with a proof of concept, prove that it works fine, and then scale up without having to have engineering capabilities. This is another difficulty. And because we make the interpretation of the data very easy, providing, for example, visual insights that can be turned into outcome, they don't need to train people to make interpretation of the data like data analysts, right? That's another kind of advantage or sometimes a challenge.
A level of simplification that makes it more user-friendly. What are some of the, just for potential customers who might be watching this, what are some of the most common energy inefficiencies that you've seen in different manufacturing facilities across the landscape that are difficult to detect without this kind of visual monitoring?
Yeah, sometimes you get so amazed that's so simple, but it's still, they undermine it completely, the operation efficiency of customers, because they have a lot of equipment. Sometimes they inherit legacy equipment, few production lines that are operating, and sometimes even if they are not in production, like we call idle times, they still consume energy. So therefore, they can tweak, set up the machines, they can change the cycles, maybe shifting 1 hour. Sometimes the opposite. They don't know that all their energy-intensive assets, they peak at the same moment. So imagine that here in Europe, if you stay in that peak for quite long, you're going to be surcharged. You're going to pay for additional energy. And what we provide is that kind of a visibility and say, hey, if you maybe shift a little bit to your production plan, you're going to avoid that, okay? And some other things that's very important. People don't realize that some machines break down because the quality of the electricity grid is bad. And that's also indicates with our solutions.
And I'm assuming, the energy manager is obviously offering a sort of a level of flexibility to be able to approach these different projects.
Yeah, that was very important by design, because first of all, we try to avoid non-recurring engineering.
Yeah.
We try to avoid as much as possible customization, because what we imagine as a good solution is out of the box, pre-installed, don't need expertise to commission. The commission is made in minutes, not in hours. And then we also have to fit to the install base of the customer. Sometimes the meter is already there because the electricity company already placed. So therefore, if we provide open connectivity, open access, becomes simple to do so, but also future-proof. All the solutions that we are presenting here, they can run on the same hardware. So therefore, even if you start with energy, electricity, you can also add compressed air. Maybe you like to monitor water, steam. So that was designed to work either individually or very well integrated.
So what kind of tangible improvements, what dimension of improvements can plant operators or energy managers actually expect when they apply this?
Yeah, let's say that if you start with the initiatives that you call, saving strategies, reducing the losses, I would expect that is a cost reduction of at least 10, 20%, 30% sometimes. The other thing is that by doing that, you accelerate your sustainability initiatives, and our experience means that you reduce your carbon footprint by 10%. Sometimes just realizing that you need to bring more renewable sources of electricity in your mix. More important, if you now save this amount of energy, 20%, you directly impact the operational efficiency. And in that case, we improve it by 5-10%.
Okay, now one of the things that obviously here at the Emerson booth for the past 3 years already that we've sort of been presenting very large is the floor to cloud approach.
Yes.
Nobody can say it. We always stumble when we say floor to cloud approach. How does that actually fit together with the Energy Manager?
First of all, I imagine that floor to cloud is a kind of Emerson ecosystem of sensors, instrumentation, edge platform, software, and cloud connection. So in that sense, let's start that we want to have a plug-and-play interaction between our portfolio of instrumentation sensors and our software and edge hardware. The other things, they are designed to work together. Even if the customer starts small with a single utility, this is already future-proof that in the same hardware, the same CPU that you already invested, you can bring new applications, which is software-enabled hardware. So therefore, that hardware becomes even more capable by the time that other applications, like our AI, that is now detecting leakage. So therefore, the compressed air would work together with the Energy Manager, and then later on, some add-ons. We also make it easier to install. So this floor to cloud means that the customer goes to our marketplace or app hub, chooses the solutions to start. Very simple, download it to the first one. If he wants to scale, it's possible to go 1 to 10 or 100 in a very matter of clicks. The other I think is important is that we strive to use open standards and open technologies. So therefore, next year, the solutions is still going to be working very fine.
Still applicable and easy to apply. Eugenio Silva, I have to stop now because we do have to move on with the rest of our live stream, but that's a lot of advantages that visitors can obviously see for themselves here at the Emerson booth at Hannover Messe 2025. Thank you so much for being here with me yet again, and telling us all about this. And with that, it's over to Marlon for some more action from the booth floor.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm here with Jan Edler. He is the IoT Manufacturing Applications Leader. Thank you for joining us.
Perfect. Thank you, Marlon. Thank you for having me.
Can you explain a little bit about what we see here with this dashboard?
Yeah, so at Emerson, we practice what we preach. And that's why we gather together some of our dashboards on global scale from our global manufacturing to introduce you to how we monitor energy and what efficiency gains we can win with our dashboards.
So when it comes to energy monitoring, how much energy reductions can we expect when it comes to a solution like this?
I can show you on the dashboard of Larze, for example. So that's a quite huge example that we have in our energy monitoring. I can show you on our dashboard from the energy monitoring of Larze. That's a quite huge one that we have here. It's directly opposite of the fair, by the way, so very close by. But the data is gathered in the cloud. And when you see the data of Larze, we analyze it every month, closely together with manufacturing and with our plant leader. And there we always find new small additions we can make. We already captured 30% of energy reductions in the last years, and we are up to new opportunities each month to go further.
On the screen, we see a lot of metrics, a lot of things we can monitor. What are the main findings that you would really look for when installing a compressed air manager?
So when I really look at the compressed air manager, let me switch another dashboard here, for example. So in Larze, we also have a compressed air manager which has a lot of endpoints. And we always see here the baseline. We always capture the baseline. That's our point to start with, because that is leakage normally. If you have a non-production hours, you always can start from the non-production hours and see, okay, what is my main leakage that I have in my plant, and how can I reduce that on global scale or on bigger scale, because that is leaking every time, all the time. And if I can reduce that, I have a 24/7 savings out of it.
Larze is a very large facility. It's a very large-scale solution. So what insights can you provide with a more smaller scale?
Yeah, so let me jump to Ashford. That's one of our factories in the US. we go there, we only have 2 power meters in there, okay? So 2 power meters, not much. So we have the left and the right side of the factory being monitored. But even if you have here these whole data of a full manufacturing, by switching the daytimes here, for example, or the granularity on how you capture data, you can really dive into the manufacturing. And if one machine is shut off, you see it directly on this graph reflected. And if you then have your analysis team there and reporting team, and they go to the data, you can really capture also small consumers in your complete facility.
All this seems very interesting. It's really interesting that we have this dashboard here on the Emerson floor where someone can come and you have all these live metrics that we can showcase. Before we end our conversation, is there anything specifically in this dashboard that you'd want to share with us?
We can also go to the donuts, which I really like. And then we can switch to one single power meter, for example. And there we can also explore more metrics than we had on the main dashboard. We also have the frequency of the grid. We can see if the grid is working right or not, or if we have power disturbances. And we can also see the supply voltage. Normally, if it drops or something, your quality and your issues are really going up and you have a lot of problems in manufacturing.
All very fascinating. So if there's a customer that's interested in, including this in their facility, how can they get in contact with someone from Emerson to really get this process started?
Yeah, so for Emerson, it's now getting easier and easier because we have now the Energy Manager available. That's a complete solution which you can just plug to your wall. You make all the setup steps as easy as possible. So you can just plug the power meter, type in the IP address, give all the meters some meaningful names, and everything will be reflected on the same dashboard you see for our facilities.
Thank you for joining us. And if you're interested in the energy monitoring solutions or anything else Emerson has to offer, please visit emerson.com to learn more.
Part of AI, sometimes this is what happens. We train these data models in order to detect such anomalies.
A hospital.
In a hospital, patients are laying out standard stations, and if they don't feel good, they can push the red button or just need to wait that somebody looks for them.
What can help customers is having information around availability. So how are their systems running? Is there downtime? What are the reasons of that downtime?
I mean, when we talk about digital transformation, this is what's being adopted, right?
Absolutely. So besides just the nature of the energy we discuss here, so the electrical one, which is easily and very precisely controllable, we talk also about digital aspects when it comes to control of the motion, when it comes to the digital aspects in how to apply an algorithm, a process control then to the system.
But there's a lot of customers also looking at that and really asking the question, how do I embrace this technology? I think we're at kind of the cusp of really getting into understanding what that's going to look like. But I guess at the start, you really need to start with the data. And you really need to understand what your KPIs are and getting those things in place and starting your repository of data on how you're running your plant and your operation.
From the electrical linear side of things, it is less energy to actually actuate it, but to hold it, you have to draw power.
What can we look forward to, or what are you looking forward to?
They can start small, prove the ROI, scale fast, and begin achieving those insights.
Well, a lot of fantastic presentations and demonstrations going on here in Hanover, and one of the men who's been very diligently doing that has now joined me on stage. With me is Arturo Vargas. He's Emerson's Head of Industry Marketing, Test and Measurements. It is great to see you, Arturo, and thank you so much for joining me on stage here.
Thank you, Karen, for having me here. It's really exciting.
It is. We're going to talk about your new domain because it was back in the fall of 2023, I think, that Emerson acquired NI, which is
Correct.
National Instruments, for
Correct.
anybody who doesn't know, and introduced its brand new Test and Measurements Business Group, or T&M, as we
Right.
call it. Now, this was with the idea of advancing its global leadership in automation.
Correct. That's exactly right.
So tell us about that, and what does Emerson actually do
Right.
with T&M, which
So-
is formerly NI?
Yeah, with pleasure.
Yeah.
This message about boundless automation, if you think about everything that you interact with on a daily basis, most of the stuff, it comes from an automated process. But then some of them, things like our microphones, our phones, our cars, they have to be tested. So what we do is we expand this vision of boundless automation to get to test and measurement automation. So what we do is we try to help our customers make sure that whatever they're releasing to the market, it meets the expectations of their customer, of regulations from the government or from themselves, and making sure that they're actually going to work in the field as intended. So test and measurement, we automate them to help our customers.
So what are some of the tangible benefits, if you can just describe for us, give us some examples that customers are getting from T&M solutions?
Yeah, of course. So when you look at everything that you can get out of automation, there's three that I would highlight. So the first one is the speed of iteration.
Okay.
Think about the first phone that came out, or the first wind turbine, or the first motor.
You mean the first mobile phone?
Yeah, exactly. Right? You have to make sure that they work. But you're really not going to get it perfect the first time. You test, you get it to market. The speed at which you're able to test, release, and improve, that speed of iteration matters a lot. It can be the difference between being late to market or being a market leader. So that's the first one, the speed of iteration. The second point is reducing waste of resources. And I'm going to talk about resources in a very general concept, because the test engineers that you have, those are resources. The time that you have, most important resource. So things, for example, when you test something and the data is wrong, because the quality of your measurement wasn't quite right.
That's a faulty resource.
Or something, exactly. It could give you a false positive, it could give you a false negative. When you have those issues and you have to retest, just to make sure you get the data again, to make sure that it works, you're wasting resources. Or when you need to have 10 different developers instead of 2 because of the complexity of your software, that's a waste of resource. So that's the second advantage that we provide. A software and hardware platform that it's going to make you more productive, and it's going to help you reduce this waste from rework, from time of development, etc. And then the first one, and this is actually quite exciting, I'm going to call it, we avoid the vendor lock-in for some of our customers. Because what happens sometimes, you buy a system, right? And the system has certain functionality. Let's say that you buy an instrument, right? Many times you buy an instrument that has more than you actually need, but you're paying for it. Or you need more than you actually have, you need to buy another one, and you're paying for extra capability. So we avoid the customers having to lock themselves into this like closed
kind of
systems.
a package deal or a
Exactly. So they can customize and use the modular instrumentation and the modular software that we also have in order for them to get exactly what they need. And when it comes to extending their system for the next iteration, they can continuously add the pieces that they need instead of having to, get a full new system and having to pay for it. So that'll be the third one.
So a modular approach, which of course is
modular
fitting for these sort of incredibly diverse industry environments that we were talking about with Eugenio earlier.
Right.
So who all in the industry is actually using T&M solutions?
So we have a broad base of customers. There's a few that are industries that are quite important for us. For example, semiconductor, we have customers like ADI, and we're going to see them soon in our flagship event in Dallas, end of this month. And they use it for electronics manufacturing, very high volume, for chips, for semiconductors. We have, for example, automotive segment in which there's the battery testing for now electric vehicles, radar testing for safety systems as well. So that's another example. We have a broader base. Even your washing machine, it needs to get tested. So we have customers in the white goods area, motors, everything that you can drive, turn on, your phones, etc. So those are a few examples of the customers we work with.
Fascinating. So it's incredibly broad.
It is incredibly broad.
Spectrum.
Precisely because pretty much anything needs some sort of measurement, right? When you need that capability to just checking like, what's happening in this electronic board or in this system. Is it what I expect to happen? So yeah, it is quite broad.
Exciting stuff. Now, it's very new because obviously, I mean, 23 isn't very long ago. This TNM business group is really quite young. What's your vision going forward, your vision for the future?
Right. So to also, that's a good point. Let me complement this. So National Instruments started in 76, so it's almost 50 years now. And it started always with instrument and automation, right? So we started with what we called GPIB boards, just a bus for instrumentation, so that thanks to NI, everything that had to do with instrumentation moved from the box to the instrument. Then 10 years later, in 86, we released our flagship software, which is called LabVIEW. Okay. That's the one that test engineers around the world use it. And then over these decades, we've been evolving our vision and how we serve our customers. So answering your actual question, our vision for the future, it's a word that everybody's using now, intelligence, right? So not artificial intelligence, but what we're thinking about is intelligent test. Can you make your instrument more intelligent? Can you put decision-making capabilities using machine learning or artificial intelligence in the instrument, again, with the purpose of making you more productive, helping our users increase the intelligence that they have about what they're doing. Because when you're testing the product, we want to move from this pass or fail approach in which, oh, the product is good, pass it. The product is bad, don't pass it. We want to move to the point in which the test data tells you about the performance of the product. So it informs your product design much better. So give that intelligence.
Which I'm assuming also is less wastage in the end because you don't have to sort of chuck the product out. You can actually just improve it.
Correct, exactly. Yeah. The speed of iteration that I was talking about at the beginning. Yeah. And then finally, this enterprise intelligence, because if you think about it, the battery that you put on your electric vehicle, right? It comes from a large supply chain, anywhere from mining of the rare earth minerals that you're using all the way to the vehicle and how it gets used. Mm-hmm. You can aggregate all that data and understand the behavior to improve the product performance at the end. So that's the vision that we have. We're going to make these three areas, the instrument, the user, the enterprise level, add intelligence over there.
Okay, well, fantastic stuff. And we certainly wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
With it, thank you for being here in person to tell us all about it. And thanks for being here and involved in the booth in such an energetic fashion.
It has been my
Arturo
pleasure.
Vargas,
yes,
thanks very
much. Thank you so much, Karen.
Stay with us and we will be right back.
Every day starts with simple routines. Waking up, getting ready, and stepping into a world that's already in motion. But behind every moment, technology is quietly working, making life more seamless and efficient. Outside, Emerson keeps things moving. Traffic flows effortlessly, transport runs on time, and energy systems adjust in real time, helping businesses and communities operate smoothly. At work, precision and reliability matter, whether it's keeping operations running smoothly, reducing energy usage, maintaining quality, or ensuring safety. The right technology makes all the difference, so businesses can focus on what they do best. The best technology isn't the kind you notice, it's the kind that just works. At Emerson, we're empowering smarter factories and more efficient processes that keep businesses moving. We drive innovation that makes the world healthier, safer, smarter, and more sustainable. Emerson.
Thank you. I'm here with Daryl Hartman, the Director of Controls and Computers, and today we're going to talk about modernization. I think the first question I want to start off is, why are people so resistant to modernizing, their control applications?
Well, Marlon, it may be a combination of things. Certainly, if a piece of equipment is operating, then do nothing is typically a person's first instinct, right? If things aren't broke, don't fix them. They also may have had situations in the past where they have had a modernization activity go very wrong, depending on what types of tools and technology they were using for that process. It may have taken longer than expected, provided unexpected results, and so they may be a little gun shy based on previous experience. And also, we've got folks that are maybe a few years away from retirement, and so for them, their priority is kind of getting to the golden age and not necessarily, worrying about making those updates, maybe leaving those for future generations. So, it can be a whole combination of things why people might be resistant to updates.
So when people being resistant, I feel that there comes the point where they're forced to. So what situations forces them to really consider modernizing?
Sure. So for a lot of customers, as that legacy product begins to age, and all electronics will wear out over time, so they may see more failures, unexpected and unplanned downtime. So that can force people to start to look at a modernization solution. Also, there could be regulatory changes that come in, and in that case, it may be that the product that they're producing with today is no longer in compliance, and so they have to make upgrades and changes in order to continue operations. Or it may be just as simple as, we're in a very competitive world, and so if they see productivity prices improving from competition, they may feel pressure then to upgrade their operations to be able to keep pace with their competition.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. So can you walk us through a little bit about the products that are in front of us here?
Sure, Marlon. So as you know, the Emerson PLC business was actually acquired from GE back in 2019, and that includes our whole history of legacy control equipment. So that would be things like the Series 9030, our quick panel operator interface products, our PAC Systems RX7i, or our Series 9070 PLCs. So, these are our legacy control systems, designed and released over the last 20 to 30 years. And this basis will allow us to help customers understand how the modernization experience is different with Emerson's PLC line and why they can expect to see clearly different results than they would from competitive modernization solutions.
Now we're here on this side where we have more products and a different side of the display. Can you just explain to us a little bit how modernization is different using Emerson's PAC systems?
Sure, Marlon. So, on this side of the display, we've got the modern PAC Systems controls portfolio. So, where we had the Series 9030, 9070, RX7i products on the backside, their modern replacement is the RX3i family here. And, it's a very different philosophy than a lot of our competitors where rip and replace is the standard offering for modernization. More than 95% of the I/O modules from those series can plug right into an RX3i backplane. It actually uses the same bolt patterns and footprint as the legacy product, so you can literally take the old unit out, install a new unit without replacing field wiring, without modifying your panels. An average electrician can swap out this hardware in about 10 minutes. So that makes for very rapid hardware replacements in the field. And in addition to that, then we have a one-click target conversion within our machine edition. So again, unlike a lot of competitive products, you can actually open up legacy programs, even things that were written in our DOS-based programmers from the late 80s, early 90s, and do a target conversion on those to, in a single click, upgrade the application logic and the base hardware for that. So drastically simplifying the process for customers to do a modernization from a hardware and a software perspective. And then, of course, we offer a cutting-edge controls development suite that includes things like software simulation, advanced diagnostics, and other capabilities within that package so that customers have a ready-made environment to validate their applications before they get to the field.
So if a customer is interested in modernization, what is the best path forward? How can they reach out and find out more information?
Sure. So, they can reach out to our sales team or our distributor channel. We have automation specialists that can help with assessments of their controls portfolio and then provide recommendations about what the right solution is forward. Like I said, for the control products, RX3i is a great solution for that. We've got some other examples here for legacy technology like Genius I/O communications and modernization steps for that, operator interfaces, even networking and infrastructure. And then, once a customer's into that new space, they can take advantage of a lot of the new capabilities that we see in our portfolio, be it edge analytics, advanced graphics, or even higher performance process control capabilities. And if they, to get that started, they can always go to emerson.com/PAC Systems to start their journey.
Perfect. Thank you, Daryl, for sharing all this information and taking some time to really explain the process with us. And for our customers, again, they can always go to emerson.com to learn more. Thank you again, Daryl.
Thanks, Marlon.
Hannover Messe so far?
I have good talkings, and I think that the speed of innovating things has risen. It's very interesting for me. I'm a journalist, and I'm looking at the Hannover Messe for 10 years now, and I think between the last one and this one there has been a jump in innovation.
Oh, it's been very good. A lot of interesting things, and we can see how the industry are searching to find a new solution.
I mean, I've just arrived, and it was amazing to see Emerson, and also, I mean, how software has become so pervasive in our industry, and how it's really changing. And now with AI and all the changes that will happen across, let's say, the engineering workflow, and also the potential for flexibility and optimization. So great to see Emerson also leading the way.
Very nice presentation. I couldn't attend too many of them so far, but yes, it's a good place to see new technology. I meet ex-friends. I was with Emerson before, actually, and so still a lot of things to see today, and also interesting discussion with customers here. Very good show, yeah.
How do you see the AI transforming manufacturing in the next, let's just say, 5 years?
In the next 5 years. That's a very wide area to talk about. The AI theme, the AI topic is something that has just entered the, let's say, medium-sized plants in Europe or Germany, and it's very fascinating, but I have the impression that lots of people don't know how to start.
I mean, we're in the hype, right? So everybody's talking about AI, how it can change. I think it's really about the use cases that we need to tackle. You know, if there's value there, clients will, and let's say manufacturing industry will, of course, adopt. We're seeing some of them coming in. I mean, predictive maintenance we've been talking about that for a very long time. Now it's starting to pick up. So I think that's one of the areas where we can really predict failures before they happen. I think that has a huge impact. But I think also flexibility in how we rearrange the factory floor. Using AI can really be a game changer, namely Gen AI, so it can really make the whole workflow much flexible and more agile. So I think it will be exciting to see what will happen in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I think AI, yes, it's a big help for the customer to improve their business. So I think it still has to get a little bit more mature, but we are going this way. We cannot go without AI, I think, to make the life of the customer on the floor shop easier, and yes, to embed the AI in the information, access to the information, have quicker all information you need about some specific topics, linking dots together. So I think it will be a big improvement to save time, be more cost efficient for the manufacturer. Yeah.
I'm very excited to talk to people one-on-one because it's always better than on the phone and on the Teams. And I had a lot of very good conversations, not in rush, but we took our time, and this is what I love about Hannover Messe.
Hi everyone and welcome back. Here we are at the Hannover Messe 2025, and this time I'm joined by two important guests from Emerson's customer base. Glad to have you with us. I've got Adrien Morat here on my left. He's the owner of the Athena platform, and Guillaume Loret is here. He's Innovation Director at MESPAC. So MESPAC, a very valued customer. Thank you very much for your presentation on your new innovative project. You're going to be telling us a little bit about that, the Athena platform. So glad you could be here. And maybe we can start, before we get into the project, maybe we can start with you just telling me a little bit about your company and your role.
I will take that one. So my name is Guillaume Loret, as you mentioned, Innovation Director in MESPAC. I started the company 10 years ago, more or less, with different roles which led up to this. Basically, my day-to-day job is taking care of our innovation efforts in digitalization, sustainability, and different fronts, and a little bit more focused on the company. MESPAC is an international machine builder specialized in flexible packaging. Basically, we do horizontal form fill seal, vertical form fill seal, as well as hydroforma machines for dishwasher pots, for example, and end-of-the-line equipment. We are part of a broader group called Duraban, which is based in the US, in Chicago. And well, we have a very big presence all over the world in more than 850 countries with more than 3,500 machines, which you can see it's quite a lot. And well, we're a very technical company, so yeah, glad to be here and thanks for the interview.
Okay, well, thanks for being here with us in person, and Adrian, give us
so
the rundown on what you're about.
No problem. My name is Adrian Mora. I'm Messpac Athena product owner, and I've been working on the company for about 7 years, I think, with several roles, and that led me to the product owner of this platform. Which basically my responsibilities are taking care of the roadmap, new features and improvements.
So we want to dive into your recent project at Messpac, which of course has been evolving with Emerson together. Can you give us an overview of what it's about and just how things have progressed since the last time you were actually at a trade show talking to Emerson?
Yeah, so as Guillem explained before very well, we started the journey almost 4 years ago, developing our digital platform, Messpac Athena, with Movicon Next. That, to give a quick summary, is a machine controls interface and also a data analytics tool. So, well, basically, we try to maximize the efficiency of both the operators that uses our machines and supervisors.
In previous interviews, you've always sort of highlighted the intense collaboration that goes on between Messpac and Emerson. How have they been supporting you, and how has that partnership actually evolved over the time?
Yeah, so we started 4 years ago. It was a little bit hard for us because the product was new. We faced some challenges, but at the end, Emerson was and has been always there. So actually, we have weekly calls or bi-weekly meetings with marketing team, R&D teams, support teams. We have a very strong relationship with them.
It's
a holistic approach.
Cooperation.
Yep.
Guillem, I know that Messpac is highly focused on helping its customers enhance their operational excellence. So could you just share some of the recent achievements or improvements that they've been reporting?
Yeah, so basically our main focus, as you mentioned, is helping our customer because we are a 100% customer-centric and oriented company. So everything they explain to us, it's very valuable. So the first thing we need to tackle is enhance the user experience of our customers with the machine. So making life easier for the operators at the end of the day, that it would be easy for them to understand the machine and to work with the machine as well. So that's what they have been reporting us, that especially the training time for the operators has been decreased a lot. So from the moment where we do the handover till the moment that let's say the operator is confident that the machine runs, this time has been shortened dramatically. So that's something that we're really happy of and glad that it's like that.
Yeah, and we enjoyed your presentation. It seems very much that Athena is growing, which is obviously good news. How important is it for the business to have a platform that can actually scale and evolve over time? And how is that linked to the flexibility that you were demonstrating and the uniqueness of something like Movicon?
Yeah, so we are always rooting for continuous improvement and on making things better. So let's say the scalability of the software, it's a crucial point for us, and it was one of the musts that needed to comply with when we were selecting the tool that we would use for future applications. Basically, we are doing things which are pretty standardized, so we want to create a standard platform that can be rolled over the different types of machines that we have, which are very big. And at the end of the day, we have projects like what we call the builder, which is, let's say, machine configurator without having to program, so to make also this scalable platform better.
Well, I'd like to thank the both of you for being here in person to share such an exciting success story. Obviously, it's just being written and it's going to go on. But before we close, perhaps you can just share some impressions of the Hannover Messe 2025, but also what you've experienced here at the Emerson booth. Is there any particular innovation that's caught your attention?
Yeah, of course. First thing, I want to say congratulations to Emerson for the booth. It looks amazing and all the details, the lights. Yeah, it's super. I like it a lot. The products that you have in general are very interesting. I see this way that you explain the transition from 4 to cloud. I think it's a very interesting, let's say, way to face it, and it caught our attention. We were discussing with Adrian that it's very interesting the way that you approach and the way that you see that. Specifically from products, obviously, we like Movicon because it's what we use, but let's say the energy efficient tools that you are having are also picking our brain, and we will think about them and see if there is a chance of implementing something in the future as well.
Thanks for that, Adrian Mora. Some impressions from you?
Well, I think the same as my colleague said. The floor to cloud solution that Emerson brings
becomes very tactile here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very interesting. At the end of the day, data is there, and I think companies are starting to understand the importance of that.
Well, thanks very much to Guillaume Loret and Adrian Morin for coming and sharing your expertise and for presenting the Athena Platform project, and best of luck to you both with its continuation.
Thank you so much.
And welcome back to our live coverage from the Emerson booth here at Hannover Messe 2025. And I'm joined this time by Ronay Ayhan, who's Global PR Manager at Emerson. It is so nice to see you. You've been running around so busy. You've been, it's wonderful to see you again, but it's been hard to catch you.
Yeah, a lot to do here at the fair,
Absolutely,
right?
a lot to do. And I mean, you've obviously been involved centrally in many of the key discussions that have been going on here, particularly the Future Talks press event. And I wonder if you could just tell our audience a little bit about how that went.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me here today. I'm glad to be here, crowded as always. Yeah, we had yesterday our Future Talks by Emerson. It was a press event where we had international editors from all over the world attending. We had 2 panel discussions where we talked about sustainability and energy efficiency. The second panel discussion was about the role of artificial intelligence in production and manufacturing. And what made it truly special this year was we had external associations with us at the booth on our stage talking about these topics, which was really interesting and made it truly special. And one of the biggest takeaways was that we're not just talking about cloud anymore, we're beyond talking about that. We really see it in action now.
So it's really being implemented, which means you're not just discussing solutions, you're actually able to now start showcasing some real customer success stories at the booth. So perhaps you can share maybe 1 or 2 of those with us.
Absolutely. Just for example, we have 2 customers here at Hannover Messe presenting side by side with us. For example, they're showcasing how Emerson solutions drive real business success. And our partners, for example, Mespak, who's here right now presenting alongside with us. It's fantastic, right? You see it firsthand. Or TMCI being here at the booth, showing our solutions firsthand. And shows how our technologies help them to be more efficient, be flexible, and also more sustainable. And for example, Mespak, what I told you beforehand, they are a customer in packaging solutions branch, and they have leveraged our floor to cloud connectivity to optimize their machine performance and predictive maintenance. And with our floor to cloud solution, help them to reduce downtime. They increased efficiency, and also this is critical in this fast-moving, changing industry, right? And the other customer, TMCI, which you can also talk to afterwards if you want to, specializes in food and beverage processing. And with our Emerson solution, they've been able to improve quality control and also reduce the waste, and making their production not only smarter, but also more sustainable. Yeah.
It's such a fascinating breadth of areas, of sectors that you're involved in. And it's really interesting how Emerson has been able to foster really what I've been hearing certainly from the customers I've spoken to, foster these very, very close relationships that are continuing on after implementation for continuous improvement. What are the benefits having that kind of a relationship where you can constantly sort of highlight each other, the customer and the supplier?
It makes a huge difference when it's a real partnership. It's not just a supplier-customer relationship. We are really working closely with our customers. We're going to their production sites. We are understanding their processes. And when we understand their challenges, we can also set the goals with them. And this allows us to develop the right solution together, like a partnership. And this gives us the opportunity, of course, to highlight their success stories, like we're doing here at Hannover Messe right now, right? And it's also a win-win situation because also our customers can say hi to their customers and show them that they are really more efficient, that they have reduced downtimes, that they are more flexible now and smarter and also more sustainable. This is critical in this time right now. Exactly.
So able to really demonstrate tangible impacts. What is, when you look ahead, what's next for Emerson? Where are we going from here?
Yeah, so we're definitely working more and more with our customers globally. These are just examples on these success stories because we will showcase how our floor-to-cloud solutions already, which are implemented, change their production sites, right? And we will more and more go with the customers, working closely with them. And we see that this is just the next step in digital transformation. We see the engagement, we see the excitement, and if you're here at Hannover Messe, come and visit our booth, see our experts, see our demonstrations, see how we have helped other customers with their pain points, how we address their challenges, how they're smarter now and more efficient, and who are the ones who are connected remotely. Stay tuned because you will see in the next days more recordings of the panel discussions as well. And more and more to come. Stay tuned.
Exactly. So I could add for all our viewers out there that they can definitely find more, and there will be more coming in the coming days on the Emerson website, emerson.com, or you can also find us on LinkedIn or also YouTube. And I want to thank you, Ronai Ihan, for being here again with me and for sort of detailing all of the successes that have been happening so far this week.
Thank you so much,
congratulations. Well done, and I'll see you again.
Exactly. Thank you.
And we're going back to the floor for some more action with Marlon Escobar.
Okay.
Very good.
That was good.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Andy Wrench. He is the product manager for Servo Motion. And here we have the hybrid motion demo. So to start off a conversation, can you explain a little bit about the demo and what you're showcasing here?
Yes, of course. So what we are seeing here is an example of a machine which might be used by an end customer in the field of factory automation. So it incorporates handling technology, pneumatic and electric movements, what we call hybrid motion, as well as an ultrasonic welding device. The entire machine is controlled by a PLC, also from Emerson.
So you mentioned hybrid motion. Can you explain a little bit more what that means?
Yes, hybrid motion refers to the use or combination of different drive technologies. Specifically here, the use of pneumatic and electric drives. So Emerson has had a broad portfolio of pneumatic components with the Aventix brand. And now with the integration of the AVAC product portfolio, this has been significantly increased. But the main point here is that now also the field of electric handling technology has been added with a complete portfolio of electric linear motion, rotary axes and grippers.
So this is all very exciting. So what does this technology really offer the customer? What are the advantages for them?
Yeah, on the one hand, the customer now is offered even more from a single source. On the other hand, the customer benefits by the use of electric components from more flexibility, higher productivity, greater precision and control, better energy efficiency, to name just a few of the positive features.
So here at the Emerson booth, we also have the FlexSpeed demo across.
Right.
So let's make our way over there and you can share a little bit more about that technology. So now we're here at the FlexSpeed demo. Can you explain a little bit about what we're showcasing here?
Indeed. So what we are demonstrating here is not just high speed. It's high speed coupled with high precision. Not to mention the flexibility of multiple sliders on one axis or the transmission of electrical signals along the rotary axis, which prevents cable tangling.
With high speed and high precision, this really seems like we're offering a lot to our customers.
Yes, Marlon. With these things, we support primarily the end customer. However, we also offer greater flexibility to the machine builder, because they can purchase our products not only as individual product, but also as pre-assembled handling systems, fully assembled, parameterized, wired from the console to the gripper, including drag chain and cycle time guarantee for the success of their project.
Thank you, Andy. This was great. I'm excited to share this technology, and I'm excited that you were able to spend some time with me and go through the details of this. And thank you for joining us. For more information on this technology and much more, please visit emerson.com.
And a warm welcome back to the main stage here at the Emerson booth at Hannover Messe 2025. And I'm very, very delighted to be joined by Phil Bond for this final interview here on our live stream today. Phil is president of Discrete Automation for the EMEA region for Emerson. And if I understand correctly, Phil, that's quite a new function for you.
That's right. I started sort of early January this year, but I'm 28 years in Emerson already, mainly in the process instrumentation business, and then, as I said, at the start of this calendar year, moved across to Discrete Automation. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind. I've spent a lot of time running around Europe, getting to know our footprint and our people and our sales teams. Yeah, so it's been
very exciting stuff.
Very exciting ride.
And how has the week at the fair been, at the Hannover Messe?
Well, this is great. This was my first opportunity to really be at Hannover Messe, so it's kind of mind-blowing.
See everyone in action.
See everybody in action. See what's out there, see how the industry is moving, and the energy that is here has been a really pleasant surprise, and the amount of interest there is in the business going forward is very encouraging.
I think everybody always leaves here very inspired and energized for sort of the next 6 or 8 months of the year.
Hopefully longer.
This year, obviously, Emerson is continuing its journey and focused on transforming the future of manufacturing with its famous floor-to-cloud. I'm going to say it's famous by now, floor-to-cloud approach. But Phil, so much is always happening at breakneck speed in the world of industrial automation when we look at what the developments are in AI, et cetera. How would you say you've seen manufacturing actually change or evolve just over the past year?
Well, we've seen a lot of impacts globally of different dynamics on the industry, across many industries, not just manufacturing. But I'd say one constant change that has been there is around companies needing to digitally transform as we go forward to remain competitive, to stay ahead, to continually drive productivity and efficiency gains. We reckon about 90% of large companies have some kind of digital transformation initiative underway, but probably only 30% of those are really able to deliver at any scale.
So what is it that's still keeping those companies from actually scaling up?
Well, there's a number of items, but first of all, a lot of companies don't necessarily know where to start. So it's just it can be a really big topic, so you have to get focused and understand where you want to go to start with. But if we then zero into where Emerson can help with the floor-to-cloud strategy and deployment that we've now seen over the last few years, what we're really helping customers do is to enable them to deploy and scale is to really sort of unlock that trapped data. So between that physical layer, the floor, and then the cloud, so that they can actually then get that data where they need to, so they can make data-driven decisions of the moment. So there's been this inability, if you like, to connect the physical system, the operating technology layer, up through the cyber layers into IT.
Since there are so many companies that haven't been able to get started on that journey yet, perhaps you can just give us sort of the quick summary, in a nutshell version of what floor to cloud really is.
Sure, and you heard earlier on, a couple of words like ecosystem, etc.
Yeah.
But effectively, it was a vision and now a deployed strategy that is integrating the intelligent device, the controls, then through the edge computing at the industrial scale, and then into the software-defined automation, really getting that information to the cloud. And that really, for the manufacturers, unlocks that access to that trapped data that they haven't been able to see or reach before, gives them visibilities and insights then to make those quick decisions I talked about a second ago, and then really to automate and perform tasks at a higher speed or better productivity or efficiency.
And what about, give us perhaps some concrete examples of how some of your customers are actually transforming their operations using this approach?
Well, you also heard that we had a couple of customers on stand here in the, in the last talk. So, but I'll give you another couple of examples. So there's
some that we haven't seen or heard before yet, just in these couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, a global OEM in engineering was using a multimedia sort of monitoring system.
OEM, for anyone who is
original equipment manufacturer. So they'll be building machines, then going on to an end user, for example. Thank you for the... We love acronyms.
We love acronyms, don't we? But we do always have to explain them.
I have a dictionary of acronyms.
I'm glad to hear that. That makes me feel better.
147 of them. But that upgrade made it possible for the OEM's customer rather to gather and distribute that information around their compressed air and steam data, and they haven't been able to do that before. But then for the OEM, of course, it gives them an advantage in that they can fulfill their commitment for their customers in helping them fulfill their needs and stay ahead of the industry challenges or the industry trends, or even the governance that goes onto those industries. So the OEM then helps the end user achieve those goals and optimize their plants through our technology.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've heard lots of things, obviously, energy efficiency, cutting costs, data optimization, all kinds of things, but give us also, again, some concrete examples of what kinds of advantages companies are actually seeing from this transformation.
There are many.
Also, many, obviously, and it's incremental for many players, isn't it?
It can be, but then you could see, I'll give you three where you see sizable sort of impact, these advantages that the customers are seeing from this transformation, where we've been able to deploy the floor to cloud solution for them. Sustainable growth being one. It's obviously very important for companies today. We have to report on that. They're trying to drive their energy costs down. So we can help them achieve carbon neutral manufacturing, for example, by identifying and prioritizing those areas where there's maybe energy waste. You heard earlier about energy management and a lot of work going there with our, in the first section of this cast. Secondly, then maximizing performance and quality, boosting manufacturing performance through adopting that data-driven approach, so you can make the quicker decisions and make adjustments on the fly as you need to. That's not been really possible before. And then, of course, that unleashes then workforce productivity, because then you can really have maximize your worker potential by using our advanced technologies or the data at hand to prevent downtime and change the speed of changeovers should they be needed.
And give us an idea also just how flexible it is. Is there a certain type or size of company that's particularly well suited to this approach, or is it really absolutely applicable everywhere?
It's really applicable everywhere. Yeah. So, and I think we also saw that earlier in the chats, that you can start very small, even small company, scale up to sort of many applications. We've seen customers, for example, a bottling example, where they started at a pilot scale, got a great ROI on the implementation of floor to cloud, and then they deployed that on basically their ongoing strategy, and it's actually in their design data as they go forward. So you do see that, and you also see that through our portfolio and our engineering expertise, it's allowing our customers to innovate with us and move forward.
Mm-hmm. How has the success of this sort of real-world floor to cloud approach actually changed the Emerson team's approach?
That's a great question. Well, you see it in action here.
We do see it in action.
We
That's
definitely
why
see
I'm
it in
asking.
action here. And working very closely with our customers. As they look to scale, we need to scale with them. So we also engineer with them. We're happy to design and look at their unique processes and make sure we can deliver a solution that really delivers the end result for the customer.
And just to close off this discussion, Phil, because we've all had a long day, and we're gonna bring this broadcast to an end pretty quickly. But I do want to hear from you what you're looking forward to over this next year as you embark on this first year in this function, but also just to dealing with your many customers and implementing these strategies for.
Well, sure. I mean, first of all, for me, it's really achieving those goals for the customers around the sustainable growth, maximizing their productivity, their quality, and unleashing that workforce potential. We're really in this journey now. You've heard and you've seen that we've got absolutely deployable and tangible results here, and just seeing how that's going to scale up in the future, working with our customers, is really exciting. And then from a personal standpoint, of course, I've still got a lot more to learn and get out there with the teams into the market, and meeting our customers here has been a perfect opportunity.
Well, it's been really lovely to have this opportunity to chat with you and to see so much positive energy and action here. Phil Bond, President of the Discrete Automation, EMEA. And thanks so much for joining me here on the main stage at Hannover Messe. Enjoy the rest of the fair.
I will.
And I think I'm going to do a little changeover.
In today's fast-paced world, every second counts. But without real-time insights, your operations can suffer. Unexpected downtime, inefficiency, and lost opportunities. Manual monitoring and isolated systems can't keep up with the demands of modern manufacturing, but it doesn't have to be this way. Introducing Floor to Cloud, Emerson's game-changing approach that connects your factory floor with the power of the cloud. From automotive to food and beverage to life sciences and more, Floor to Cloud enhances productivity across industries. Real-time data, right from your equipment to the cloud. Insights that help you reduce downtime, optimize processes, and hit your targets. Harness powerful analytics, AI, and machine learning to predict issues before they happen and improve efficiency across every level. It's not just about productivity. A floor-to-cloud approach helps you meet your sustainability goals by cutting energy waste and maximizing efficiency. Scale up or start small. With Floor-to-Cloud, you can transform your business on your terms. And it doesn't stop at one factory. A floor-to-cloud approach can span multiple sites across your entire operation for maximum visibility and control. With real-time insights from every location, you can monitor and optimize performance across your entire network of sites. Anytime, anywhere. Emerson, powering the future of automation, from floor to cloud.
Now it is indeed time to sign off. That's the end of this live broadcast, special live broadcast from the Emerson booth here at Hannover Messe 2025. And I'd like to thank everybody out there in the cyberspace, but also everybody here at the booth in Hanover on site. Give us a bit of noise, make some noise, let people know that you're here. I'd like to thank them all for being here for this live broadcast. For more information, for anyone who's still got questions after all of this, feel free to visit the website, emerson.com, or you can also find us on LinkedIn. And of course, in the coming days, more and more material on YouTube from all of us here on site in Hanover. It's been another really exciting edition of the Messe, and we're looking forward to more. So take good care, and we hope to see you next year. Bye-bye.